Good day, guys. Welcome again to video tutorial number 3, where we'll be looking at installing roof on our basic 3D structure pre-prepared. Now, for the sake of this exercise, however, we're going to be installing two different types of roof so as to give the experience in applying slab roof as well as pitched roof components. I'm going to be basically drawing an outline around the portion of the building that we intend to be fitting with pitched roof. To do that, let me do that on the zero layer. I wish not to do that on a layer that I intend to be using. So let me do that on the zero, because the zero is not really a part of our set layers. I'm going to go to my line and select polyline, and I'm just going to be drawing a polyline around the portion of the building that will accommodate, or that I intend to accommodate, the pitched roof. Alright, so let's go around this area here. My perpendicular snap seems to be off, so let's turn that on. Let's get back here. Alright, around the bedroom. Let's find this apparent intersection that's there. Alright, to the end of the building here. Back to the bathroom, around. So basically doing the perimeter of the structure to give you the basic shape of what my pitched roof will be covering. Alright, so the white line is expected to be the shape or the profile of my pitched roof. So there it is. So the white line would indicate the area of my pitched roof. What it therefore means is that all those walls, all the walls encompassed by that white line, would have to remain at a height of 3,450, because those walls are expected to be the highest walls in the building, accommodating the pitched roof. In order to do that, it means all other walls would have to be reduced to heights of approximately 2,700 millimeters, that's 9 feet, and those walls would bear the slab roof portion of the building. Alright, so to do that, we had already drawn all walls having a height of 3,450, 11 feet 6. So we are now going to be reducing those walls that will be accommodating the slab roof type. Alright, now if I was, however, to reduce this wall, for example, as a wall that I know will be accommodating the slab roof, if I select that wall to reduce its height, what you notice is that the entire wall would have been reduced, and it is only the portion from here, from this point here, that we would have wanted to reduce. And so the wall would have to be broken such that a portion of the wall could be reduced and the remaining remains. To do that, from my command line, I'm going to type break, and I select break. AutoCAD prompts me to select the object I wish to break, which is this wall. Alright, now it is important that you select first point to indicate your first point of break, and my first point of break would be right here, because I would want to separate that wall at that point, and my second point is the same as the first. What I've done is actually to break the wall at this point, but I've not removed any portion of the wall, just to separate the wall, so to speak. Alright, I'm going to give an enter because there are other walls to be broken. For example, this wall has to be broken at this point here. So I give an enter, I select the wall, I give a first point. My first point is right beside my polyline. My second point is at the same spot. Again, the wall is broken, but none of it removed. Alright. Also, this wall here has to be broken. As you realize, it's one continuous wall, which I would need to be broken here. So I'm going to give a break, select. But that, even though I've selected it here, doesn't mean I want it broken there. So I have to give a first point break, which is this point here. Alright, just to show that that's where the wall would have been broken. Alright, but I'm going to indicate that as my second breakpoint, indicating that none of the wall is to be removed. The third line to be, or the next line to be broken would have been this line, because if you notice again, the wall here needs to be reduced, but it's one continuous wall. So again, I give a break for this wall. The first breakpoint is here, and the second is at the same spot. There my wall would have been broken or separated from this wall. Alright. For the veranda portion or the porch portion, again, this wall is one continuous wall. It needs to be broken here. So again, I give a break. I select that portion of the wall, or I select that wall. My first point is this point, or this point, doesn't matter which. Alright, and my second point is the same point. No need to break it here, because notice that this wall is already terminated here, so there is really no point for a break at that point. Alright, now I'm going to be reducing all the other walls, or all walls external to that perimeter line, because those walls would be reduced to a height of 2,700 to accommodate the slab portion of the wall. So let me go ahead and select all of these walls. Those two, and these two lines. From my properties, I'm going to change the height from 3,450 to 2,700. Alright. Once I select on my screen, you would have noticed from the 3D side that those walls would have been reduced. So if I was to orbit, for example, my 3D building, you would realize that some walls, the heights of some walls would have been reduced, because those are the walls that are expected to carry the slab portion of the building. But if you actually zoom closer at these walls, you would realize that by virtue of my breaking the walls, some portions of the wall would have been removed. And for those corners, all that is necessary is just to do a fillet between those walls to fix that corner right back up. Alright, so let's do a fillet, ensuring that you are actually filleting at a radius of 0. And I'm going to be filleting, say, this wall with this wall. Notice the corner cleans up nicely for you. So if you, wherever the walls are broken, if you zoom in and you realize that those corners are damaged, then you could just patch those walls quite easily. Here is another one. You could realize a notch in the corner. Select me again, do a fillet between this wall and this wall. Notice the corner terminates nicely again. Alright, this one here is nice, and I see it occurring again here between these two walls. So again, let me do a fillet between this wall and this wall. See, corner again closes nicely. Alright, I'm not expecting any other, and so we would have had our building, our wall heights nicely adjusted. Alright, There you go. Now I'm going to be applying the pitched roof portion of the building first of all. Alright, and my pitched roof, as indicated earlier, would be the portion of the building perimetered by this white polyline. To do that, I'm going to my roof slab layer from my build toolbar. So from my roof, I'm going to be installing a roof. So I select roof, and I'm going to be making some basic settings for this roof. For example, my thickness, which refers to my plate size, for example, my hip rafter size, things like that. Those are going to have a thickness of about 6 inches. So let's enter 150 millimeters. For the edge cut of your rafters, you can either achieve the square cut, which gives you a nice perpendicular cut at the edge of your rafter, or you could have your rafters cut at 90 degrees, which is what I tend to prefer. So as opposed to the plumb cut, I'm more for the square cut. So I'm going to be selecting the square cut at the edge of my rafters. The roof will have a single slope and an overhang of 18 inches. So let's go for 450 millimeters. Now for your plate height. Your plate height will be the height that the wall has, and in this case our wall having a height of 3,450 suggests that we should also be having a plate height of 3,450 millimeters. So I'm going to be entering 3450 as my plate height. In terms of the rise and the run, you don't have to adjust the rise, because once you give this roof an appropriate slope, the rise and the run would have been adjusted. And I'm going to be going with a roof with a slope of say 25 degrees. You would have noticed that 25 or 30 degrees even, would have been a roof with a nice slope. So roof sloping between 25 to say 45 degrees would have been appropriate sloped roofs. Alright, with those settings made, then we go back to our screen, and it's best not to click on the screen, but you may just roll to collapse your properties there. And I'm going to be selecting the perimeter of that portion of the building to be covered by pitched roof. So basically I'm going to be following my polyline. Alright, I'm careful to select the corners properly so that the roof fits nicely on this building. Alright, a good habit is to ensure that the crosshair is at exactly at the point where the snap indicators are. Some persons have a tendency for once they see the snap, they click. No, it's best to ensure that the crosshair is at that exact spot before making that click. Alright, I'm going around the building, and when I'm back at that corner, then I'm going to give an enter for the roof to be constructed. Alright, now if you look over on the 3D side, you would have, let me orbit that a bit, you would have noticed that that portion of the building has been fitted with a pitch roof. If you need for a higher roof, then we could just go back, select the roof and give it a greater angle, perhaps a 30 degree, perhaps that would have been more appropriate. So let's go back to that and change that slope from a 25 to perhaps a 30 degree slope. Alright, if you notice, it gives it a little higher, right, so that seems a more appropriate roof for that portion of the building. Alright, now any portion of the building not covered by a pitched roof, we're going to be using a slab roof to cover that portion of the building. Again, that's quite a simple operation to do that. we just go back to our build tool, and from that we go roof slab, and we select roof slab. All right. Now all that is required is just to again polyline. With that, we could go back and make some basic settings first of all. For example, we would need to give the thickness of the slab. AutoCAD has it default at 250 millimeters. We would change that to perhaps about 6 inches thick. So I would go with perhaps 150 millimeters for a 6-inch thick slab. All right. The base height, which indicates the top level of the slab. Now, since the wall is 2,700 millimeters and the slab is expected to have a thickness of 150 millimeters, then it means then that our base height would have been 2,750 millimeters, all right, which would have been, or rather, 2,850 millimeters, which would represent the wall height plus the slab thickness. All right. The direction left, that doesn't matter. The overhang. Now it's best to give it an overhang right now of 0 and manually install that overhang. And I'm going to be showing you why in just a minute. In terms of a slope, again, our slope here is going to be 0. All right. So we want this roof being placed on with a slope of 0 because we want this to be a flat slab roof. All right. Now I'm going to just be polylining around this slab area, selecting the outside edge of the walls. Again, I am careful to ensure that I select the outer corners that the slab is expected to cover. When I get to this corner here, I'm going to pass just a little bit, say to here, then I'm coming back in here, and I'm going to be following my original polyline because those are the corners that the slab will be visible in from the inside. All right, down here. I'm back where I started, and so I give an enter. If you notice the slab and another enter. If you notice the slab has been put on the back portion of the building. Now it was important that we didn't give an overhang, because if we had given an overhang, then what AutoCAD would have done is to have given overhang even on the inside of the building, because it would have given an overhang around the entire slab. So from the living room, for example, or from the dining room, for example, looking up, you'd be seeing a portion of the slab around the building here, because it would have had an overhang which would have protruded into the living room. And so we gave it an overhang of 0. What we're basically going to be doing though is to manually put that overhang on the sides that overhang is required. To do that, you select the slab, and you would have now had grips that you could grab and pull in the direction you wish those overhangs to be. For example, on this side, we would want to have an overhang of approximately 300 millimeters. So I grab my handle, pull in the direction, and type 300. Give an enter. I would have had some hangover from the wall of 300 millimeters, perhaps to the back as well. So you grab this, pull, and type 300. Give enter. Again, it gives a 300 millimeter overhang from the wall. Perhaps on this side, another overhang of 300. Give enter. 300 from this wall again. Give enter. 300 perhaps overhanging the garage door. Give enter. And another 300 on the side here. Give enter. 300 from the master bathroom wall. Give enter. and perhaps a 150 coming in this direction. Give enter, and we would push this back onto that wall. Give an escape to release the roof, and again we would have had a roof being displayed in 3 dimensions. Alright, let's zoom in and have a look to ensure that that roof is sitting properly on that wall. Alright, so there we would have had the back portion of the building, or the back portion of the building, being covered with slab roof. Alright, also we would be installing slab roof on the porch. So again, let me go back into my build. I'm going back for a roof slab. The settings made would have been kept unless otherwise changed, or until changed, those settings will remain. And so I'm just going to be selecting around, starting perhaps here. I'm going to be selecting the perimeter of the area that is not yet covered. Alright, the slab is now to sit on this wall, out to here, and back to here. Give an enter, you are finished, and give an enter to release the slab command. Alright, again, select the roof, grab the handle, and pull away. Give an overhang of 300, enter, 300 on the side as well. Because what this does, it prevents water from falling from the roof running directly back into the building. So it pushes, or it allows the water to fall away from the wall. Alright, so let's give a 300 and give an enter. Give an escape. Alright, here we could now realize that the entire building now has roof covering it, slab roof on some portions and pitched roof on other portions of the building. Alright, so that's it for this video tutorial. That's how we apply pitched roof as well as slab roof. Until next video guys, again, happy drawing, have fun with this.